So this is a statistics lesson for the week now. So we are looking at, as it says there, Venn diagrams, including mutually exclusive and independent events. It can be a little bit tricky, but you just have to sort of think it through, and then they're not so bad. So we've got three probabilities that we're given, and K and L are independent to each other, which means that the chance of one happening doesn't affect the chance of another happening. It means they can both happen at the same time, which is not true for J and L, as they are mutually exclusive. The one we haven't got here is conditional, so we don't need to worry about that. Mutually exclusive means, though, if one happens, another can't. So if you're going to roll a dice, you can't roll a 1 and a 6 on the same roll. If you get a 1, the 6 doesn't happen. Now there's a couple of different ways you could draw the Venn diagram for this. You could do it, and if you look at the answers in the book for this one, this is question 2 from the mixed exercise on page 34, by the way, then they do something that looks like this, with J and L being mutually exclusive. So you'd have your J there and your L there and your K there. And that does make a lot of sense, and then your universal set around it. But for a good reason, that you might have a setup where you've got a Venn diagram and you get some zeros in it, so that you've seen what that looks like. That's how I'm going to draw this today, and this works just as well. So we'll have our J, our L, and the K. Always put a universal set around it, because all the numbers within that box should then add up to 1. Now, what this means here, J and K, if they are independent, no, sorry, these must be conditional in some way, because if they were independent, your part for here between J and K would be what you get when you do 0.25 multiplied by 0.45, which is not 0.1, but we can put that 0.1 in there. Now, because J and L are mutually exclusive, they cannot happen at the same time, so those two within both of those loops must be zeros. And then to find L, the part between L and K, the probability of L the probability that it is on the intersection there, that they both happen together, is going to be the probability of L times the probability of K. So we can do that with 0.15 for L times 0.45 for K, and if you do that, that should give you 0.0675. So I'm going to put that bit in between L and K just there. And now that I know that, I can do this bit by, I know the probability of L is 0.15, so 0.15 take 0.0675 gives us 0.0825, so I can pop that in there. Then for K, we've only got one gap left here, so I need to add those two together and take them away from 0.45. So if I add them together and take them away from 0.45, I get 0.2825. And all of this, I should have written that down really. Everything you do, write down as part of your working, just in case things go wrong, and it makes it easier to check through again afterwards, doesn't it? And the probability of J is 0.25, so if that's 0.1, add 0.15 to that, gets us our 0.25. Now we still lose a mark if we don't put in the probability of none of these events happening. So to do that, we need to add all of these up and then take them away. So that is your probability of J is 0.25. I can do that in one go. My probability of L, that's in one go, isn't it? Because that makes 0.15, and then it's just that bit in there that we would need to include as well. And if you do all of that, that should give you 0.3175 there. Now that set the scene for the question. There are now 4 more questions that we've got to sort out, which we can just about fit in like that, which gives us an opportunity to go through just revising what some of these things mean. JUK, that means J union K, so that means the probability that any of these things happening at all. So that is looking at all of those there. So it's going to be 0.15 plus 0.1 plus 0.0657, add 0.2825, and if you get all of that right, it should be 0.6 that we get there. The next one, the probability it isn't J combined with the probability it isn't L. So that means everything that's not in there and everything that's not in there. So that just leaves us with what's in K on its own and nothing happening. So that is going to be 0.2825, add 0.3175, which gets us 0.6 again. Now the next bit here, that means probability of J given K. So it means that we know it's in K already. So if it's in K already, that means we no longer have 1 as being our overall. There's only a 0.45 chance of it being in K. If they're telling us that, that's those 0.45 things that can happen is now our denominator. And given that it's in K, the chance of it being in J is 0.1. Now that's a fraction. You can stick it into your calculator, or you can have a little bit of fun by timesing everything by 100 to get you 10 over 45, divide by 5 to give you 2/9. So 2/9 or 0.2 recurring. And the last one, now I must admit I read this wrong when I first saw it. I thought it was saying K given not J combined with not L, but actually what this means is K given it's not in J and it's not in L. So not in J and not in L is just these parts. So what we're looking at, our denominator being 0.2825 plus 0.3175, and our numerator being the bit that is in K, 0.2825. And if you do that, those two actually add up to make 2825. They add up to make 0.6. But when that comes out in as a decimal, it should be 0.471 to 3 significant figures. Right, now to practice this, I would like you to go to Maths Genie, and I've uploaded it onto class charts as well. I'd like you to have a go at questions 1 to 6, please. Actually, I don't know why I said 6. Looking at it in terms of what's relevant for this, it's the first sheet, questions 1 to 4, and I need to see how you've got on with that, please. The answers as well I've uploaded, so you can mark your own work, but let me know if there's anything that confuses you, because it can easily do with probability. It's not that difficult, but sometimes you can get yourself into a real logical fug where you can't see where to go. Alright, that's it for this week then. See you on Monday for 13C and Tuesday for 13B. and let's have a little bit more stuff sent in by some of you.